and welcome to the Eternal Connection Show on blogtalkradio.com. My name is Daniel Feint, and today we will be doing an inquiry or an exploration of the idea of the constant and what it means to be constant and how we could compare that to variables. So we're going to do this mathematically, as well as, let's see, one of my favorite dichotomies, which could be a blend and one needs the other, could be humanity or spirit or soul, the unseen and the seen. So we're going to explore this, and first to offer the other side of the equation, so to speak, we're going to explore the idea of variables. Now, this was inspired by a radio program, another radio program that I listened to, where I got this feeling and this idea or vision of possibly that a constant is truth, and you could think of the truth with a capital T instead of truth, which is based on perception or perspective. It's interesting because we do live in a material world where there's physical objects and different angles and different views. Yet what I want to explore or inquire about today is the idea of a constant, or what I feel is the characteristics or attributes of the unseen, and we'll also get into the characteristics of the seen. It could be that they blend together, so that the blending is a unified or equal, all-encompassing range of things. An example of the constants that I took note of is stillness and silence. It is a Zen proverb in Buddhism that it's the silence between the notes that makes the music, or it's the space between the bars that keeps the tiger in the cage. I feel that it's only realistic to take both accounts into play here, because we are living in a physical world, but I do believe that it's fueled, or the truth behind the illusion of the physical world is what is an area that is real and is not illusion. So just bear with me as I try to go through this exploration or inquiry. Now, different types of variables, which could be thought of as time, is one example, where there's the past and the future. Can we hold on to the past? Can we, in the present moment, touch the future? Unless it's all happening in the constant of the present moment or the now. On a psychological or human ego level, we get into the variables of comparison or judgments, or the division of any kind of range, and that could be that, for example, even with spirituality or spirit or soul, it uses the concepts of that, but then you can get into the idea, well, I feel that I'm more spiritual than them, or wow, they're really spiritual. I'm not as spiritual as them. I do believe that that's a characteristic of the ego, and as I see it, that is false or an illusion. I like to believe in equality, and I could show that mathematically. Two of my favorite quote-unquote numbers or symbols or pointers as to a truth is 0 and 1. Say, for example, the properties of 0 have a consistent pattern where whether it's addition, subtraction, or division or multiplication, the properties of 1 and 0 are consistent throughout. Maybe pi, the value of pi, is an example of a constant that is constantly changing. It has been said before that the only constant is change. Now that's a nice statement that sort of blends the two. As well, the last thing I want to mention about mathematically is balanced equations. Say, for example, you have, now this is sort of like going into the idea of the inquiry or exploration of, are variables an illusion, or is constant consistency the only type of real thing in this world and in the world beyond, or the world underneath? So balanced equations, say for example you have 4 plus 5 equals 3 times 3. Basically, you have two different types of properties. You have the number 3, 4, and 5, yet it all sort of adds up to a consistent or an equal type of thing, which is a constant. I hope you are enjoying this exploration. Let's see. To take a break from this, and then I'll do a recap. I usually do a 13, 14, 15-minute segment on Blog Talk. Again, my name is Daniel Feint. If you're interested in any of my previous work, I have artwork, usually acrylics or sketches, online. My Facebook page is under philosophy, and it's under Daniel Feint. Last name is spelled F-E-I-N-D-T. It's a German name, so the spelling is a little bit different than the English way of pronouncing it. I also have written a lot of poetry, and I have a blog on WordPress. I've put out a whole bunch of paperback books. They're available on Amazon. I do this radio program, and that's basically the work that I've done. But what they say in life is oftentimes we come into this world as not knowing the quote-unquote rules or regulations or attributes of this physical world of dichotomies and variables. So our ego needs to develop to navigate the world, in which this world is based on that illusion, for lack of better terms, of not being equal and constant and consistent throughout. And then as we go through life, the ego sort of dissipates, or we find that we're looking for something more, which is actually what we initially started out with, which is home, as I see it. And it's a state of looking to the soul, looking to the constants of what is equality and unified, and whether that be unseen or seen, whether that be material world that we navigate to learn or experience, the unseen. Yet it's been said that there's two different ways of looking at the world. One is that we're a human having an occasional spiritual experience, or second, that we're a soul or a spirit that's just traveling through a temporary physical or human experience. So that's one way to sort of explore this as well. We're about 10 minutes into the show so far. So, yeah, I guess that's basically all I wanted to share with the listeners today. I really appreciate anybody who listens to this show. I hope it's helpful or entertaining or thought-provoking or food for thought, all that type of expression as to what these words are pointing to, or any other type of way that it could go with that. So today we're talking about the constant. That's the title of the show. But we've also explored variables, and through mathematics, through ways of looking at things, whether it be silence or music, that blend together. In conclusion, I think that we, even to catch myself with an almost unequal way of looking at it, is that there's either A, a constant, or B, a variable, and even that's not unified. But what if it only one was true, which one mathematically is a constant, yet a variable compared to other numbers? So I don't think there is a really defined set way of concluding that one is quote-unquote better than the other. What the ego likes to say is the word better. We do, just as a part of this culture, have a tendency to compare and say better or worse, less or more. And like I said, it helps to navigate this physical world. At the same time, I feel that it's also just as equally important to explore the unseen, and the characteristics of the quote-unquote soul, or ourselves that's eternal. So, again, I really appreciate anybody who listens to this. I wish you all the best in life. I encourage to explore different areas of life that you find interesting. That's what I like to do, but I like to label myself as a philosopher or a poet or a mystic, possibly, just because I think it's fun. But I will conclude as I usually do. So wherever you are, or whenever you are, or whoever you are, I just wish you all the best, and I send you my love, and I thank you with a sense of gratitude for bringing me into your world and listening to what I have to say. Okay, well, take really good care, and until the next show I put on. Okay, bye.